Good morning and welcome to the AM News here on the AM Show. My name is Enimado, and in our very first story, Wawase, a farming community in the Ifija Kwabre South District in the Ashanti region, has been thrown into a state of shock and mourning after a 47-year-old man allegedly killed 3 people within 2 days. Kojo Eduse, a palm wine tapper, allegedly murdered his friend, claiming he saw him have an affair with his fiancée in a dream. He then stabbed and killed 2 elderly men, one being his grandfather, a day after residents retrieved the body of the first victim on a farm. Ohiming Teria of our security desk will bring us more details in a little while. But moving on, the cost of liquefied petroleum gas is expected to go up by about 40 pesos per kilo from next week. This is despite the removal of the price stabilization and recovery levy for the next 2 months. The tax relief was expected to cushion consumers, but the LPG Marketers Association say it is not enough to stall the increment.
Petrol 10 cedi. Because 30 Ghana, we got 1 gallon ulodu numa mobi na asa. Just say over a tier, any asalayo, Fitanopa, Botumgra, empty. Lord for Bebre Nante, Swatase, and to Miss Senupa, Omo de Petronum, Emba 15 Ghana cities. Yes, Renupa, Nana, or Femi, Efem Mustava, me a full MPP supporter, Miss Renupa, Momodia, Petronum 15 Ghana cities, my. Yeah. Sisia, send a petrol echo, and easy, over top petrol 1 gallon, almost 30, over 3 trip. Petrol nasa, and Juman no, ya Juman more petrol. Wong, and Tibran Hebre, yet me Pakua 3 hours. Passenger 3 nepel, and your 4 3 nepel, now so at times 2. Yeah, you call Mr. Me station master waha. Wong, and ya easy, ya bread too much.
Now, former President John Dramani Mahama has once again bemoaned the number of social infrastructure and economic projects abandoned and left to rot in some cases by the Nana Addo administration. Mr. Mahama was speaking during a courtesy call on the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs in Koforidua on Tuesday. Mr. Mahama and the NDC are on a tour of the country to thank Ghanaians for their support and votes in the 2020 election. This is the 3rd phase of the tour, which started from the Eastern region and will continue to the Western, Central, Volta and Oti regions.
Governments are enjoined to continue the projects begun by their predecessors. Unfortunately, it will appear that after 2016, the new government that came has either advertently or inadvertently refused to work on many projects that the previous government started. And I can name so many of them. There are road projects, there are hospital projects, there are school projects. I mean, I know in my brother Kwahumahin's jurisdiction, the famous Abetifi Hospital is crying for continuation and completion. If you go to other places, there are many of such hospitals that have been abandoned. I'm happy to note that the Somanya Hospital has been completed, but then it needs to be operationalized as quickly as possible. Government says it's going to build 111 more hospitals. If some have been finished, at least let them start working while you bring in the extra 111, or if some were ongoing, complete them and add the 111 hospitals. Unfortunately, it will look like there's more attention in cutting short for the new 111 hospitals than there is for completing the hospitals that are already under construction.
Apologies for that break. But let's move on to the National Communication Authority, who have approved the licenses of Radio Gold and Radio XYZ for operation. These stations form part of the 131 others who have been authorized to operate, subject to some conditions spelled out by the NCA board. This was the outcome of the authority's governing board meeting held on October 11, 2021.
In a statement, the authority indicated that the beneficiaries include new applications from entities whose FM radio stations were closed down after the 2017 FM audit, as well as existing stations which applied for renewal of their expired FM radio broadcasting authorizations. In May 2019, the National Communications Authority shut down Radio Gold 90.5 FM and Radio XYZ 93.1 FM, both based in Accra. Officials of the NCA stormed the premises of the stations with armed security personnel while they were on air and ordered their immediate closure. They were then handed letters detailing the reason behind the order while asking them to reapply for license if they wished to operate as frequency modulation radio stations. 2 years down the line, the authority says it is ready to grant them broadcasting authorization subject to the applicants attending a sensitization workshop on the terms and conditions of FM radio broadcasting authorizations. In a statement dated October 12, the NCA explained that the provisional authorizations shall be issued to the successful applicants at the end of the workshop, and frequencies shall be assigned to the applicants only upon the fulfillment of the conditions of the provisional authorization.
There's been a desperate move to rescue flood victims in different parts of Accra who have been trapped in their houses, some for as long as 2 months. At Oyarifa Green Hills, a suburb within the La Nkwantanan Medina municipality, scores of residents were caged in their homes for as long as 5 days following weeks of consistent heavy rain. MCE for Medina, Jennifer Dede Ejabing, says officials of NADBO had been directed to pump out water from the homes of the affected residents. But the mission has failed, as authorities say the unavailability of drains in the area has made it impossible to pump out the water. Here is Deputy Regional NADMO Director Daniel Obing Isihine, who spoke to our sister station Adom FM.
We are not planning course I over 101. Course if you when communities no free. Say when it's not trap and
we have gotten so many calls today, and most of them are from this particular Oyarifa area. You can see our trucks parked there. We cannot pump the water because there are no drains to pump the water through. You can see the houses built on the waterways. Now we've checked at the houses. None of the houses here have drainage systems. And so it's become very difficult to pump out the water. Now we have the trucks and the machines, but can't pump it out. So we are going back to have a discussion with the municipal assembly to find out how to deal with the situation. We will check whether they have permits or they do not have permits. If they do not have permits, we'll just have to demolish the buildings and allow the water to flow. If they have permits, then we must prepare to give them some compensation before we can demolish the houses.
So permitting to say compensation be na drains na community no obi ahụ.
Meanwhile, a similar situation has caged residents of Ayika and Doblo within the Ga West municipality for close to 3 months. My colleague Manuel Kranting visited the area yesterday and now reports.
Well, it's usual for the place to flood, but it will always recede because the water flows through the culvert. The situation is different now because there's no culvert for the water to flow through. I'm just going to go a bit forward and then speak to them about how they have been living here. And this entire stretch are, inhabited settlement. We're told close to 8 households. 8 different households have been affected by this particular situation.
We are in the 3rd month now. It's 3 months now. The water has gathered at a certain spot. In fact, here, in front here, there's a deep hole there, and it's filled up. So the water flows from that hole around. We alternate ourselves to go and buy things for our house and keep it and be using food.
There's one of the affected victims who's just leading me into his room, which has been totally inundated by the water.
Because of water now, musi and inti. A man should not intiminko. near face problem, but I just said, yes, you know, Aban, we are better who has a chamber soon in our tree. As I met me and son and met my bed, Abba Beda. And yes, any baby as some with boy and yet Miss Union as some yes, sir, a boy. I say a better pa. You don't I don't come in Libya. Mrs. Saneba, Miss and the Benjamin Mijano, Mafia, and one come Tony him. Now, if you say we are, and some Mr. Winina, and Sana, Mambo's movie, and my packet no money in a way, mere them Puman Wedian.
Well, he's been telling me that his entire room is flooded, and he's had to wait it out because the more he drains the water out of the room, the more the water continues to fill up the room.
I saw about 2 big snakes and reptiles.
Is it safe for us to keep standing in there?
You are safe. Yeah, they only come for sunshine and then go back. The other day I met one just in front of my house. My whole place is flooded. And I can even tell you, there's an old culvert there by the main road, which has been blocked. So all the water from the E block or whatever come, and there's a volume of water over here. It stocks there and it doesn't move away. Then it comes back to various areas. Almost, I can even say 8 houses have been affected. This is the drain. But over there, deep, about 3 feet down, that is where we can locate the old culvert, which has been blocked by the outer lane. When we go to it, has been blocked by that place. Also, all the water coming over from Akrama or whatever reaches, yeah, it's almost about 4 feet deep. So that is where the culvert is. Now, the drain has covered the top of the culvert. So the drain itself is useless drain. It is not serving any purpose.
But what has been the response of authorities? I want have you made any attempt to get?
I met the federal roads engineer. NADMO has been here. The assembly engineer, not yet, but they are all aware about what is happening here.
The place looks waterlogged. Am I correct?
No, it's not a waterlogged area. There was a stream just in front here, about 10 years ago when I came here. So the old culvert, they've paved the old culvert purposely for that. But when the contractor was doing the road, instead of the contractor to connect the old culvert into the drain, he failed to do that. And instead, the drain is on top of the culvert. And then we got some estate guys around there. They have blocked the other place. So when water hits over there, it turns back.
And you are the ones that suffer for it now.
We are the ones who suffer.
And indeed, that's the situation over here. Now they've been caged in their houses, as you've been hearing them, for close to 3 months around Ayikandoblo. Efforts to get responses from authorities have not yielded much results. For now, though, they are left with, as you can see, the old man to be using, sticks and poles to support them as they walk through the pool of water that's gathered here. From here at Rasta Junction at Ayikandoblo within the Ga West Municipality and the Greater Accra region, my name is Manuel Cronting for Joy News.
Well, that's it for the AM News, but the AM show continues right after this.